Hi, Pastor Andrew here at Faith. I'm just here with Cami, and we're chatting a little bit about what does it mean to share your faith, and what does it look like sharing your faith with those around us. Now, Cami, as you and I were talking, one of the things with sharing our faith is that it can be scary. It can be intimidating. So what are some things that you do before you share the gospel with somebody that helps you before you do?
For sure. I think one of the most important things before sharing the gospel with somebody is just taking time to pray, whether if it's by yourself, if you're sharing in a relationship with somebody, or if you're going out with someone to share the gospel, to just take some time with them to pray for however long beforehand, that you would be given the words, that you would just be leaning into God's heart and listening for what he has to say, and for the confidence to go and know that it's his words that are speaking. Yeah.
I find that super comforting, right? This idea that we're going out, but we're relying on God to go before us. And when we spend time in prayer before we actually go out, can bring such great comfort and confidence as well. It still makes it scary, but it's knowing that the King of the universe is going out there with us.
Yeah.
So after you've you've done that, you had an opportunity to share the gospel with an individual. Why don't you tell us that story?
Yeah, sure. So this was a while ago, and I was out with a group of people, and we were intentionally going out that night to share the gospel with people. So we knew ahead of time that we would be sharing the gospel with someone at some point, hopefully with multiple people. And so we were out in this park together, and I was sharing my testimony in front of a group of people. And when I was sharing it, I was kind of like looking around at people, and I just saw there was a guy who had been standing there the whole night. And he was just kind of like off to the side by himself. And I just noticed him when I was up there, and I thought okay, I think afterwards, once I'm done, I think we need to go talk to him. So I grabbed a friend after I was done. And we kind of prayed together, and we walked over to him, and we just started a really casual conversation. I mean, clearly he had just seen me standing up in front of everyone, and he already knew what we were there for, because we had already talked about our testimony and everything. So it was a really easy transition into a God conversation. So, it started off as how's your night going, all that stuff. And then it was just like I said, that easy transition into so what did you think about what we said about this? And have you heard about Jesus, or have you heard about these stories, or have you experienced that in your own life? And so we were able to kind of really easily go into that conversation. And he said that he grew up kind of knowing about Jesus and of the stories and stuff, but he never really knew Jesus personally. And so it opened up the door for us to kind of go back through the story of the gospel with him, and just trace that back and go from beginning to end, and be able to see where that's working in our lives and his life. And honestly, the whole time, this doesn't always happen, but I got really lucky. And we got to see him just the whole time have this just look of awe and wonder on his face, as if this was just the first time he'd really heard Jesus. And it was really cool to be able to see that light switch for him, and just be whoa, God is so cool. So
that's amazing. That's so encouraging. Now, I want you to finish this sentence for me. Sharing the gospel with him has encouraged me in my faith by.
Honestly, I think I know how cool God is and how awesome he is, but I think when I get to see those particular moments in people where they just go, whoa, that is so cool. It's such a cool reminder of how good God really is. To meet people where they're at in whatever story they have, and to just see that light switch moment, it's this crazy cool reminder of wow, God is so cool. And we know that, but getting those reminders every once in a while is really encouraging, and just reminding us of how important it is to share how cool God is and how awesome he is, with other people.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. This has been encouragement. You know, as we share the gospel with others, and it's daunting, it can be scary. But I think one of the things to really focus on is that God is sovereign. God is in control. God is always there, and God is the one who is going to save the individual, not us. You know, we're just called to go and declare the gospel. He's the one that's going to save, and that is so freeing for us. And you know, I hope you were encouraged by Cami's story of obedience. You know, sharing the gospel with other people, and I look forward to hearing about other stories that people have in sharing the gospel with others. And you know, as I already said, you know, it can be intimidating, it can be scary, and we have resources, we have tools, we have things that will help you in sharing the gospel with others. And so if you need any of those, if you have any questions, please feel free, reach out. If you have any questions, I'd love to talk. And so, you know, thanks again, Cami, for sharing that encouraging, amazing story. And I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Thanks.